What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the 21st episode of our podcast, Don't Stop Believing. Beleafing. I messed that up already. Wow.
Nolan's tired.
Where we talk all about the Leafs all the time to anyone who will listen. I'm your host, Nolan Drinkwalter, and this is my co-host, King of Being on Time, Jack Prince. How's it going, buddy?
Dude, the one time. I'm usually waiting on you, dickhead.
Good point. But I couldn't think of anything. That was the first thing that came to mind.
The brain's not too strong for both of us tonight. It's probably going to be, just a heads up, we will self-handicap ourselves right now. It's going to be a tough podcast because Nolan's been moving into his new house, so we're going to give him props for that. So
I'm eternally moving. I'm always moving.
Eternally moving. But this one, there is a final destination. He is in his new house for the first time, so congrats on that.
Thanks, buddy.
And it looks nice. That wall looks really nice, dude.
Hey, don't look too close to the wall. I don't want you guys to know where I live.
Yeah.
Stop looking at it.
Yeah. I assume that room has 4 walls and a roof, which is pretty cool.
Yes, it does.
Nice. Not one of those 3-wall rooms,
Pretty square room.
Yeah.
And it was a stucco ceiling, actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the whole house
you
is
have
stucco.
to pay extra for that kind of stuff.
Actually, everybody hates stucco now.
Stucco's
on the outs.
On the outs.
But I kind of like it. It's actually it looks very fresh.
Yeah. Looks very stucco.
So I'm good with it. How you doing, buddy? Not moving? Are you moving?
I'm not moving too fast
good,
either. I was at the hockey tournament the whole weekend, worked 2 12-hour days and then a 7-hour day.
That is a long weekend.
I woke up this morning and I'm like, oh, I got to go to work. But I thought it was like the hockey work. And I was like, oh, wait, no, today's Monday now. I have to go to my actual work.
I would love if you showed up at the arena.
Where is everybody?
Where's the games?
It's like a bunch of seniors playing their like Monday morning shinny.
Oh, you've aged, eh?
Man, these kids really grew up.
But yeah, so
we'll try to do our best today.
Oh yeah.
I can't even remember the games, so I was just watching highlights
really? This week had 2 of the best Leafs games of the years.
But kind of like run and gun Keefe style games.
That's what made them so interesting and awesome to watch. And they won both of them. So
yeah,
we'll get to the big story of the week. Ever since the 4 Nations break, Leafs are 5-0. And not only are they winning every game since the break, they're winning in literally every way you could think. They have...
You're going to say their record of February?
Yeah, didn't they lose like 1 game?
7-1.
Yeah, 7-1.
All February.
Yeah, 7-1.
Yeah.
But now they're 8-1 their last 9.
Yeah.
With the win against Pittsburgh.
Nice.
Where it was a shootout game where no goalie could stop the puck. They win that. They play in New York where they have a more defensive game, I guess you could say, where it's a 3-2 game, but the goalie stood in his head. Stolars, our boy. And then you have the Boston game where it's the old-fashioned Leafs comeback. Down 3-0, come back and win OT 5-4.
The reverse game 7.
Yeah. Fighting their demons, man.
Yeah.
Putting them to bed. So it's nice to see that, like the good teams, like the teams that you want, or like what you want your teams to do is being able to win anyway and to be able to play the other team's game, I guess. Yeah. And if the Leafs can win those games, and they can win the tight games that Bruba's teaching them to win, like the 2-1s, where you have the 1-goal lead and you just cave it and you just become this big rock in your own zone. Protect the house. Don't let any big chances go.
Yeah.
Or you have the game against Pittsburgh where it's run and gun, where you're firing passes through the middle of the ice to a streaking boy to snipe a goal. I love how they can do both. And I love how they can actually come back now, because earlier this season, that wasn't really their style, being able to, not only could they hold a lead, they couldn't actually come back against any other team.
Yeah, quite a few comebacks this week.
Yes. So, what do you think of those games, the 5-0 record these Leafs have right now?
It's a fun team to watch. It's awesome hockey right now. This boys seem to be firing on all cylinders, and then also putting past demons to rest, showing that they can play in Boston and against Boston and get these monkeys off their back. So Again, we'll find out in playoffs, but it's looking very promising right now. Like you said, winning in multiple ways, different types of games. That's what good teams do. They find ways to win. And we're winning at will right now, which is nice. Like to go 7-1 in all of February. That's a good month.
And usually that's usually when everything starts declining for the Leafs.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things right now where things are going so well. Do we want to touch it? What do you add? What do you take away? What's going to happen this week at trade deadline?
True, but to me, a hot streak's just that. It's just a hot streak. That doesn't mean that player, like it's such a small sample size of players that, like Robertson's having this week. Domi, we'll talk about him coming up, but he's playing good as well.
All of a sudden, it's like, are they consistent? Again, it's not a big enough sample size, but they're showing they're trying.
And guess who is playing tonight against San Jose Sharks?
Järnkrok, or as if you want to say the J, Järnkrok.
Or if you want to say it properly, Kalle Järnkrok.
Oh, wow.
I might be wrong. I
didn't know you spoke that language.
Finn, I think he's Finn. He's a Finn. He's definitely Finnish.
Is he? Or Swedish? One of those.
Now I don't know. I feel bad if I call him a Finn. He's Swedish because they hate each other.
They hate each other. Yeah. Oh, no.
Sorry, Cal. Wow. Now he's never going to be on our podcast. Fuck.
Oh, man. We just blew that bridge already. 1 down, 28 more to go.
Leafs?
Yeah, including some AHL players.
If you could have a first Leaf, like realistically, who would you be your first interview? If we could do it on this podcast. Yeah.
Oh, probably just personality-wise, Willie.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I would like a fourth liner first, like someone like Revo or Lorenz.
Okay, interesting.
That'd be a good first one, I think. And then work up to the White Whale.
Yeah, when we get a little bit more experience.
Yeah, get Stolars on.
See, that guy's playing at a different level right now.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And we'll talk about the goaltending come up too. I mean,
so much to preview. Just teasing it, just tickling it around.
So right now, what I want to talk about is our boy Austin Matthews. I got some good and some bad to talk about. Mm-hmm. So we'll start off with the bad because we want to end on a good note. Yeah. So Matthews has 1 goal on a goalie in his last 13 games.
Yeah,
and it was in the game against Pittsburgh. And his face-off. And the other thing I want to bring up, we can talk about that first. 1 goal in 13 games. That's terrible.
But how many posts?
That's the thing. Yeah, it's hard to. It's still not a goal though.
But the last game, he looked great against Pittsburgh.
Yes, I agree.
He was flying around more like his usual self. So you're hoping if he is dealing with something, he's getting over it because that was the most I've ever seen him shoot the puck again.
And that goal he scored, the goalie wasn't even on his knees yet. That puck was already out of the net.
That was disgusting.
That was wild. I've never seen anybody shoot that fast.
In and out so fast.
Right along the ice like that.
Yeah.
That was a crazy goal. But yeah, so that's the only goal in the 13 games. And the other was the open net. So 1 goal against the goalie in 13 games. Not good. That's a big drought for him. But you're right. He has hit a lot of posts. I remember that Minnesota game he went to, there was 2.
Even Boston.
Yeah, the Boston game, there was 2. New York, he had 1.
In Boston.
Yeah. So a lot of posts to this guy. But
a lot of posts. Loves his posts.
But every year we say the same thing. Oh, like next year is going to be different because he hit a lot of posts this year. So that means like some of those are bound to go in. Same thing again this year. He has to be leading the league, I think, for the 3rd year in a row of hitting posts.
Probably.
But not probably.
Yeah.
And then another thing I noticed when I was watching the Pittsburgh game, his face-offs weren't that well. So I went back and looked at his face-off history. And in the last 3 games, so Pittsburgh, he was 50%. Which is not good for your first-line center. The game before was 43%. And then the game against Boston was 36%. That is like winger territory at 36%.
Yeah, and he used to be pretty good, so I don't know what's going on there.
Before that, it's like 60, 58, 60, 58. Yeah. All around like the range you want your centers to be. So I don't know what happened these last 3 games.
Or maybe just came across like a veteran centerman in the league.
Well, who?
Like if you're taking faceoffs against Bergeron the whole night, how many? And then Crosby the whole night. Like how realistically, how many are you winning?
Jack, you're a little of the past. Bergeron's gone.
I know, but I know Bergeron's gone. But I'm just saying, like, say that's your matchup, your first line versus their first line, and that's who you have to take faceoffs with the whole game.
I can understand, like in Pittsburgh, 50%. I can understand that because Crosby is actually one of the best faceoff guys.
Yeah.
he has the record now for the most faceoffs won out of any center in the league.
Yeah. So that was his competition against Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So that
I give him the
explains
50%
that
on
number.
that. New York, though, you have who? JT Miller.
Yeah, that's what I don't know who he was facing off against. I didn't know if there was somebody like really good in the face-off dot there. I don't know, or maybe he just had an off night. Who knows?
And then Boston, you have what? Zaka,
Yeah,
Pavel Zaka.
Yeah, you can't say Bergeron. Bergeron, I'd give him a pass, but I don't know who he's facing there.
Yeah. I don't even know who the other centers are in that team.
I don't know. Maybe just that week. I don't know. Too small sample size. We'll see.
It was just a weird. I just noticed like his faceoffs weren't doing that well. And I just looked up the stats. It was one that just stuck out to me a little bit.
Did you go deeper than that than last week?
Yes, I did. Like before that, it was like 60s, 58, like his actual average.
So it was
That's
just
his actual
last
average.
week.
Yeah, it's just this week. Yeah.
Yeah. Small sample. We'll keep an eye on it. But good for you to.
We'll keep a close eye on this.
Good for you for noticing that.
I just noticed that he was losing these faceoffs like on the power play, like right the really bugged me. And
yeah, I just noticed the Pittsburgh game. That's it. So that's interesting that you noticed the other games.
And then so we'll go on to the good stuff now. He is on a 9-game point streak. He has 13 points in those games, and because of that, he hit 700 points, the fastest of any Leaf possible.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to say that's pretty good. And it's a pretty good point streak. It's just, I wish he had more goals like everybody does.
Yeah, if he had 3 points in the one game, he would have been the fastest American player to reach 700 points. He would have passed Pat LaFontaine. I think that's who
LaFontaine.
LaFontaine, yeah. So he would have been like the fastest American player to reach 700 points, but he's right there with him.
How's that not Patrick Kane?
Didn't get that fast, I guess, like with that Leafs games played.
And how is it not Mike Modano?
I don't know.
That's
but I'm just saying, like, he's trending ahead of all those guys right now. So, this could, at the end of the day, be the best American player to ever play the game. But the time his career's up. So.
Yeah. And I was listening to our last podcast. We were talking about being able to watch the best Leafs in history. Mm-hmm. And we actually might be watching the 3 best Leafs of all time.
They mentioned that on the broadcast the other day about, when it's all said and done, you look at the careers of Marner, Willie, and Matthews. Those guys might be 1, 2, 3 as the Leafs' top points and goal scorers and assists.
Yeah, because Marner and Nylander hit milestones yesterday as well.
Yeah.
Like Marner passed George Armstrong on 4 points.
Yep.
And I think Nylander passed, I can't remember his name. But
Marner's
he was
in the
10th.
top 6 or 10 now.
Yeah, George Armstrong was 7th, I think. So he's 7th.
So Marner's in getting up in all-time points with the Leafs.
Yeah.
And they're still, it depends if Marner re-ups, but yeah, if he re-ups and him, Matthews, and Nylander go the distance, those guys will probably have all those records by the end, which is wild that we're watching this era and golden era of Leafs.
And soon to be the Mick Golden era when McDavid comes over.
Yeah.
Nice. But Nylander just got number 10th on the all-time goals list for the Leafs as well.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. Like they're hitting all these milestones.
Already.
And they're young. They're freaking young.
They're still flying around.
I know. I love it.
Haven't even hit 30 yet.
What?
They haven't even hit their 30s yet. They're still ripping around.
That's usually when they get real good.
Matthews is probably going to beat Matt Sundin for most goals all-time Leafs next year.
Yeah.
Realistically.
I don't know. Matt's was 420 or something like that?
420, I think. Yeah, around there.
So I think he has like another 40 to go.
He's like at 390 or something. Yeah. He's got like 30.
Very doable. Very doable.
Very doable.
Already almost 400 goals already is crazy.
Yeah. 27.
So I just wanted to, he's doing, there's 2 sides to Matthews right now, the duality of man, and it's just, hopefully.
It looks trending upward though, man.
Yeah, he is.
If he plays again like he played in that Pittsburgh game and starts playing like that more consistently, we're good.
Agreed. And next, I kind of wanted to go through the Boston game because I watched this game real closely and I friggin' loved it, man. And I think it was the best game of the week.
Well, you text me. I was at volleyball that night, and I was going to watch it later. And then you're just like, shit game, man. Leafs are playing like shit. I'm just like, oh, crap. I'm glad I'm at volleyball. I'm like watching not watching them shit the bed. And then I get watching the game and I'm like, what's going on here? This isn't. They're coming back.
Yeah, because I think it was 3-0 after with 10 minutes to go in the second, and the first period they looked terrible.
Yeah,
and by halfway through the second they looked even worse.
Well, you said just skip the whole first period, and I did.
And I was going to like actually shut it off. I mean, this game's terrible. I'm like, you know what? I'll give it to the end of this period here, and we'll see. And there was one goal. I'm like, there's a little light. And they ended up getting a power play at the end of the period. I'm like, okay, I'll just watch the power play in the next period. Marner goes out and has a beautiful goal. Like 3-2.
Yeah, that was a really nice goal from that angle. Looked like everyone just thought he was going to pass, and then he just shot it.
Yeah, finally he shoots it. It's that confidence from the Four Nations, buddy.
The confidence from Four Nations, like John Cooper said. Somebody be selfish and shoot the puck in the net. So he's like, he heard that.
So he just needs John Cooper as a coach. That's it.
No, he already had it, so that's why he's good now.
Yeah, honestly, actually, since you brought that up, I was thinking about this actually today about John Cooper. Like, what an amazing coach! Because I heard some of the things he said at Four Nations, and I would honestly run through a wall for that guy.
Yeah,
and I'm not even on the team.
And the way he talks is he just puts things so eloquently, and I love hearing him talk because he doesn't like beat around the bush. He goes right for the point, but the way he phrases things sounds so intelligent and cool and respectful. Like the guy's just oozing class and respect for the game. Yeah. But anyway, Marner scored.
Yes, Boston game. So I love John Cooper, and because of that, now I even love him more.
Yes.
He better be Canada's coach for the rest of time.
Wait, did you hear the story about Sam Bennett?
No, tell me.
Oh, so he said it on Spit and Chicklets. Basically, he went up to Sam Bennett because he got healthy scratch the first game, right? And he goes to Sam Bennett and he's like, hey, there's no easy way of putting it. You will have a role on this team at some point. It just won't be for tonight's game. And he was like about to talk, and Sam Bennett like cut him off. He's like, Coach, I don't care. He's like, the fact that I'm here, even if I don't play a game, the fact that I'm here, I'm happy. I wouldn't want to be on vacation. I'd rather be here. And then John Cooper's like, the rest is history. The guy is, as soon as I heard that, I get why Florida won the Stanley Cup with these kind of guys on their team.
Yeah.
And he's like, that guy's a gamer and just is a team guy. And yeah, it was just a cool story to listen to. Anyway, tangent back to Marner scoring in that power play.
He makes it 3-2 a minute into the third. And I'm like, okay, here we go. Now we got a game. And I'm really watching it. I'm like right into the game. And then Morgan Riley makes this pass that I don't even know was possible. This is actually I might as well say it now. I actually picked another goal, but
there's a couple.
Now I'm picking this goal for goal of the week. We'll have some honorable mentions because there's 14 goals this week between the 3 games. And I want to say 7 of them were all time.
Yeah.
So this is my goal of the week now because now I'm so pumped up about it. Morgan Riley makes this pass that I didn't even think was possible because when they show the angle of this pass from the Boston end and Riley was passing it from the Leafs end, it shows it going through or over 2 sticks and then between someone's feet that are closing in. And I don't even know how it got over those sticks. And then Robertson is able to pick this pass up on his backhand.
Yes.
And I can't stress how hard that is to do with even a softer pass. And then he comes flying in down the wing. And we all know he has a killer shot.
Yeah.
And he beats Swayman so clean. And Swayman knows he's shooting.
And straight
Everyone in the world knows he's shooting.
Yeah.
And he beats this amazing goalie clean. And he's like 5 feet out of his net. He's way out of his net to cut down the angles. And perfect, it's a shooter shot above the pad, below the glove, snipe.
Yeah.
And I loved it. My goal of the week, fucking loved it, to tie the game. And I'm like, oh, I am so pumped up at this point. I'm like, yes, tie game. Boom. And I think it was a minute 30 later, McCabe has this little mistake in the corner, gives the puck up, real bad mistake. And Pasternak just walks out and actually just snipes one.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy hell, that's a goal.
Yeah.
So now we're down 1 goal. And some guy I gave a bunch of shit to, and apparently when you call a guy out for having a good week, apparently they have the next week's amazing for them too. So I called Holmberg out last week for not scoring any goals on goalies, and this was one of my honorable mentions for goal of the week as well. Was Robertson again? Drives wide. He grabs the puck. He's able to fish it out, or he's able to pass out in front somehow, and then off of Holmberg, I think kicks it up to a stick somehow, and roof
with like
it.
all these people around him.
Yeah, it's
out of nowhere,
major
he
scrum
gets it
in front of the net.
Yeah,
and he's able to roof it so easily over this goalie, and just goal scores goal again.
Holy Holmberg. That was the name of our podcast last week, and he continued. I was like, is this guy for real? Is this guy?
He's for real.
Like, that one was with his stick, Nolan.
And on a good goalie, too.
Yeah.
So I got to give him credit for that. I'll give him as far as he deserves. An amazing goal to tie the game with a minute left.
Yeah.
Then we go to overtime.
Yeah.
And first, there was this play with JT and Marner where it was like a kick pass from Marner.
Kick pass on the 2-on-1. He like dropped past it, and he almost scored.
Yeah.
And that would have went crazy.
Goal of the year, if that was a goal. But still, he still one-ups himself by getting a break by one. I think it was a great save by Stolars. Yeah, a great save by Stolars when, I want to say Brazeau. Oh, no, sorry. What's the low ride? That's it. Low ride, drives wide, cuts in front, bowls over Stolars.
Yep.
Which I'm like, is that not a penalty?
Yeah.
Are you allowed to do that in that play?
I don't know.
And Stolar still robs him.
Yep.
Puck squeaks out. Matthews bats it across the ice. Marner gets a breakaway and just undresses Swayman for the win. And I was jumping and screaming and just all over the place.
Absolutely.
Holy crap, man. What a game.
What a game. Inject that into our veins. Imagine that was a playoff game. We could be even wilder.
Oh, I'd be sweating.
I would have just punched a hole in my wall. Ah!
My girlfriend kept being like, why are you yelling? Stop yelling. This game's wild.
You don't understand.
Because like the refs were not good that game either. So I was mad at some points, happy at others. I was crying. It was a roller coaster of a game, man. So that's probably my favorite game of the year.
Up there for sure.
Because it's Boston too. That just like it amplifies everything.
Yeah.
So great game. I loved it. So do you want to have anything to say about the Boston game? Because I just went through the whole thing and I didn't let you talk really, so I'll give you a chance now.
I concur.
Okay, you know what? Podcast over.
Indubitably.
Really pulling your weight, Jack.
How can I beat that? That was a great description of the game. I think that's awesome.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
I have a toss-up for my goal of the week. It's either that Marner goal or Nyes' buzzer beater.
Oh, that was going to be mine.
Yeah, so, I don't know. Both of those are my goals of the week. Marner, just because, like, this guy's playing at such a level since Four Nations. He's just humming out there, and they just continued it right into the Boston game, so... How can you be mad at that? Like, this is awesome to watch. And to see Boston have what happened to us for so many years by them happen to them. Mind you, it would have been sweeter if it was playoffs, but still.
Still feels great.
Still feels great.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
So
yeah, and then what?
You gonna go New York game now, or?
Well, I just wanted to go through that game because that was my favorite game of the week. Do you want to go through the New York game?
No. What do you have to say still?
Nothing. I just love that game. But Marner, so he was one of my players of the week. He was actually my honorable mention, so I might as well talk about him. Because in that New York game, on the game winning goal, he's like the main reason. Actually, that whole first line was played well in that very small moment because I guess the rest of the game wasn't the greatest. But that one, like, they can score so quick. Like, just turn it on a dime that quick, which I love. But yeah, Marner is another, like, got the secondary assist on that goal. But so the goalie was trying to wrap it around the boards. Shesterkin was trying to wrap one around the boards. Marner gets there, and they're so quick, jumps up, hits it with his body, to be able to get the puck down, and Matthews just comes out of nowhere, picks it out from that crowd, and pops out in front of Nyes, who's wide open.
Yeah.
And it all happened within like a fucking second.
Yeah, it's scary how fast they can turn the puck on its side and just come back at you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that always became apparent to me years and years ago. I always remember this Carolina game where they scored 3 goals in 2 minutes. And they were losing most of the game, and then it was like 2-0, and they just scored 3 goals at will in 2 minutes in like this one shift. And it just goes to show how much firepower they have, that if you are going to make mistakes, they can just turn the game over 180 in 2 seconds.
Yeah. The best example for me for that was the Tampa Bay playoff game when they were down 4-1.
Yeah.
With like 10 minutes to go in the third.
Yeah.
They scored the 3 quickest goals.
Yeah.
Holy, and that was a game to watch.
It's to the point too where if they're down even 1 or 2 goals in the last minute, I still have hope.
And that, true. Like in that Boston game, like, oh, they're coming back. They got this.
Yeah.
So yeah, won that game too, against New York, and it was great to see. Stolarz or Wall? No, I know it was Stolarz. Stolarz outplayed Shesterkin that night, I think.
Yes.
He had a great game. Actually, they were outshot 2-1 almost.
Yeah. There's been no weak goals on Stolarz. Wall didn't have a great game against Pittsburgh. Mike Johnson was calling him out a little bit.
Well, apparently he was supposed to start the New York Rangers game, Wall, but he was sick.
Oh.
He had the poops. And I feel like he wasn't 100% for the
Pittsburgh game.
Yeah, but he had like it's a back-to-back, so
yeah, so he's like, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because the Crosby's goal was weak.
Yeah, and he didn't look characteristic in the net. No. He looked like he was fighting a little bit, which usually he doesn't look like he's fighting at all.
But I like how the Leafs rallied around him, being able to win for him. Because how many games has he stole for us?
Yeah.
And then they were still able to win this game for him.
Yeah, for sure. And, we want to speak of passes. McCabe's pass was pretty good, too, to JT.
Oh, yeah. What a snipe, man.
And then that was kind of the turning point. Because, right after that, Nyes did what he did.
Yeah, talk about turning the game on its head like that. 2 goals in a minute in the end of the second. Yeah. But the JT, I'm like, oh, he's not going to get close. He's not going to be able to get close to the net. He is slow. Like, the defense were really catching him.
Oh, they were catching there.
What a snipe, though.
Yeah.
He can still shoot it. Well, next I want to talk. Everybody this year has been super down on Max Domi for good reason, kind of. He hasn't been like he's here for his offensive skill. We know his defense isn't the greatest, but he hasn't been providing the offense that we expect from him, like he did last year. But I just want to give him his flowers because ever since the Four Nations break, he has 4 points in 5 games, a goal and 3 assists. He has his first goal since December 20th, which is insane.
A lot of Leafs are just knocking those off, like Timmins.
Timmins had one, that's the good stats. And for me, Domi 4 points 5 games. That's what 0.8 points a game. So that's like the 60-point category that you're looking for from this guy. If it was a full season, I know it's a small sample size, but that's all we have to go off really in the last 3 weeks. So I don't know. I think he is in the right spot and he's going in the right area because it's getting to those playoffs where he's the factor. He's a guy who brings it. He's a gamer.
Yeah.
And you're hoping he's amping up towards that.
A lot of things are trending up. If you're looking at since the Four Nations in their play since the Four Nations, a lot of things have been trending in the right direction. All these things that you had on your list, like, depth scoring, defense scoring, all this sort of stuff. The Leafs have been just knocking those off, just crossing those off the list. Oh, you thought this? Okay, cross that off.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. It's like, the Leafs don't have depth scoring. That's all they've been doing for the last 5 games. Defense haven't been scoring. The defense has a goal in each of the last 4 games.
Yeah. And then Matthews is in a slump. He scores. So
And then players are breaking their like 30-game goalless streaks.
yeah, you have Timmins scoring for Christ's sake.
Yeah, that's how you know the goalie's playing bad. Just kidding, he's a good player. Almost had you, Jack.
How about Nylander just ripping around that shift?
On the 3-on-3 overtime winner?
No, on Timmins' goal, he's just ripping around the offensive zone. Just having himself a shift.
And then Connor's like, I'm done with this. Timmins like, I'm done with this. Let's just end the shift.
They won't expect me to shoot, and they're right.
But yeah, so Max Domi, I like the way he's playing. It's just with him playing well, with Robertson playing well, McMahon obviously staying on the team, it makes these decisions. I swear this happened either last year or the year before. It makes these decisions at the trade deadline so much more difficult.
Yeah.
And
it also builds their value up. So if we do need to trade somebody, it's better.
I know. So it's kind of like, is this just a hot streak? And do we trade them while they're actually kind of at the top here?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah?
Yeah, because they've had so much time to find their own. And if you're just doing it now, it's kind of like when a contract's up, all of a sudden they just start playing well when their contracts do. It's like they're doing that so that they can stay together, stay on the team. And it's like, oh, you guys had all year to do that. You should have done that earlier.
Marner's like famous for it because look at this contract here he's putting up right now.
Oh, gosh. You guys going to be asking for 15 mil.
20 mil at the max. That's the max you can get.
Do you know I set up Connor McDavid's McGolden goal? That was me.
And he told me, good job. You're a good player. So that's got to be worth something, right?
Yeah. So that puts me up at least another 5 mil. If the best player in the world says that I am a good player.
Oh, yeah. So goal, you said your goal week, Marner won, right?
Marner or Nyes. I kind of like the Nyes one more.
Right now, I think he holds the record for like the goal.
5.7 seconds.
Okay,
that's how much time was left in that period.
Oh, yeah, I know that. No, the closest to the period being done scoring a goal, like 0.1 seconds left on the clock.
Oh, yeah, how can you beat that?
0.001? I don't know. The puck didn't even hit the back of the net. NHL
doesn't measure in tenths of seconds, so...
No, they only measure in seconds. Like, they only measure in seconds, so a goal that's scored with less than a second left, it only counts as 19:59 left in the period.
Yeah.
Or you know what I mean? Like 1 second left in the period.
Yeah.
But the puck crossed the line and didn't even hit the back of the net before the clock ran out.
Yeah, that's insane.
That's crazy. Is he counting down in his head?
I think you're just hustling as hard as you can and just shooting as fast as you can. And
but where do you shoot? Where do you shoot from?
Yeah, but it just lucked out. It was all luck.
I think it was skill.
Hustled as hard as he could and was like, I got to get this off, and then just did it.
I think it was like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi.
Shut up! No, he's not.
Triple D.
Nobody does that. Wow, he's cut that triple D short. It was only 2.5 because he knew the time.
But what an absolute snipe!
Oh my gosh!
Like, I've never seen him shoot that hard.
I wonder if the goalie was like, "There's no way. There's no way," and then like, "Oh shit, I have to make a save."
Yeah, you can't act like that. I'm not going to try to stop it. It's not going in.
Well, Carlson definitely didn't try.
No way. What a blind pass that was.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just crazy that because of this goal, people will start to rethink their strategy on those face-off plays in the offensive zone, like with anywhere less than anytime more than 5.7 seconds, you're going to be thinking, oh shit, we actually still have to play defense here.
Yeah.
Whereas before, some goalies even used to pull their goalie.
I feel like that'd be 3 seconds or less, though. No?
Yeah, but if you see Matthew Nyes skate the length of the ice and shoot it in 5.7 with 3 seconds, you could easily get a puck and shoot it down.
True. That's crazy.
It will start playing. Like, how could it not make you rethink those plays?
Especially when Matthew Nyes is on the ice. But yeah, so you had the Nyes and Marner goal. I had the
Mhm.
Robertson goal is mine, and
Yeah.
the Holmberg goal. I want to those 4 goals all need to be in the
And
conversation for
throw the
goal of the
Matthews
week.
goal in there because that shot was otherworldly.
Yeah, but you also want to bring in the other factors. Like for the Robertson goal was the amazing pass to him as well.
Yeah.
Reception of the pass. And then the Holmberg goal being in the last minute, and this guy just why was he on the ice in the last minute?
Well, I thought the game was kind of because the big guys had just been out and
Yeah.
they were tired, so they had to change. I'm like, oh, there goes our guys. Here comes Holmberg and Robertson and like those guys, and they got it done. And I
I know
was like,
what a gamble by Berube, man.
wow.
Because I think what he wanted to do was put them on the ice, get a whistle as fast as possible,
Mm-hmm.
and then timeout, rest, and then the top guys come back out.
Yeah.
But it was like, oh, well, they scored. I'm an amazing coach.
Brilliant, genius.
Quite. So yeah, let's go to might as well go to player of the week now. For me, it's going to be Nicky Bobby. I've noticed a big difference in him this week. Not with the points, the goal and 2 assists. He's got 3 points this week, 3 games, 3 points. But it's the forechecking as well that I've noticed is different. Like he's trying to push these guys out of the way. They're bigger guys than him, but he's still, I want to say, 50% of the time getting that puck. It's better than what his percentage was before in those puck battles.
And how about that back check highlight?
Oh yeah, on Pittsburgh, it was wild. And
Yeah.
Mike first of all, Mike Johnson and Gord Miller are amazing.
They're the best. They're the best callers. I love them so much because they just say how it is, and they're not afraid. Like Mike Johnson's not afraid to like call a Leaf player out for hot dogging or whatever.
Yeah,
but yeah, they're great.
Not just that, is the other side too. Like he will be like, great player. He's so good. 100%. He does this right, and he's so friggin' smart, man.
Yeah.
He's like, they're gonna run this play now, and they're gonna do this, and they do exactly
color,
what he says. Yeah,
he's the best.
Yeah,
I've been enjoying him doing that, especially when it's cool when he's in between the glass too. But that time it was an away game, so they don't have the in between the glass spot. Yeah. So he was just doing color, but yeah, he's great. I really enjoy listening to them call games.
Him, and I like DeBrusk's dad too, Jake DeBrusk's dad, who does the Edmonton games.
Okay,
I really like him as well. He actually does a good job.
I don't stay up that late. Well, I
do.
You do.
What were we talking? Player of the week, Nicky Bobby.
Player of the week.
Yeah, that back check you were talking about. Mike Johnson was saying the control on a stick to not put it into his own net there as well.
Yeah, at that angle, it was weird.
Yeah, because like that's going. You know exactly where that's going when it's bouncing off your stick.
Yeah.
So it's great. It was a great play by him. That's the back check, man. His stride's getting better. It's not just like looks like he's going fast now. He's actually going fast. Yeah,
before it just looked like he was working hard, but wasn't getting the outcome.
But now it seems like he's working on his play, like his fundamentals, his hockey. He's trying into the corners. He's actually trying to get that puck from that big defenseman by not just trying to lift his stick, hitting him.
Yeah, but he's actually doing it and getting results now. Mm-hmm. Whereas before, it just seemed like a lot of work, but not much results. It's like, oh, you can tell he's trying, but like it doesn't really amount to anything. And whereas now it's definitely doing some stuff. Kind of reminds you of when there's a car there and you're crossing the road and they let you go by and you have to like pretend that you're hustling. So you just kind of move your arms, but your legs are still going at a normal walking pace. That's what it kind of was before, but now he's actually scooting.
He is going fast. And there was a couple goals I want to talk about. The first one in the Boston game, the Morgan Riley goal that he scored, it went off the defenseman and in. But who was in front pushing that defenseman around? It was Robertson.
Yeah.
So he gets the spiritual assist on that one, which doesn't really count, but like he's right there battling for position.
Does, though.
Yeah. But he was battling that player in front for that puck, and that puck goes in because of him. He's half the reason why that goes in.
Yeah.
And the other goal was in the Pittsburgh game, the Domi goal. He was the first one in on the forecheck. He gets that puck to McMahon out front, and it gets over to Domi, and Domi has a wide open net.
That was also a nice goal.
Yeah, and that's the whole line there working together again.
Yeah, McMahon like misfires on a backhand.
Domi just cleans it up
perfectly. Domi.
And then again, we already talked about the Holmberg goal, but again, he was a big part of that goal as well. So it's just nice seeing this player who is trying so hard for the actual results to come through, I guess. Yeah. But it's going to suck when he's traded at the trade deadline.
It's funny that I didn't expect you to pick Robo. I was like, oh, I'll pick Robo. Nolan's going to pick Marner or somebody like that.
He's my honorable mention.
And then you just said, I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me. I didn't even think of a backup because I thought mine was a lock. But you're literally thinking the same as me. I will take Marner because Marner's been a beast since Four Nations. And it's so nice to see him stepping up, being that guy that, again, we need him to drive a line. We need him to drive games, take over when the tough gets going, the going get tough. And he seems to be doing that with all that confidence that he's gained from the Four Nations. So this guy is an elite player. We're so happy to have him. And hopefully, you know, it carries on into the playoffs, and that would be the biggest litmus test, and it's the biggest thing for us every single year. It's, well, we'll see what happens in the playoffs, because cumulatively it all just comes down to the playoffs, and
that's what we're all waiting for.
And that's what we just sit there through the regular season, we make our speculations, but it's like, well, I don't know until the playoffs, and then you finally see the product and see what happens. But
do you think he hits 100 points this year?
Marner?
Yeah.
What is he at now?
I don't know, probably like 75 and 75 points around there.
Yeah, and they have like 25 games left, so yeah, probably comes close.
He's way over a point a game. I know that.
He's always right. He's always right by it. Then they'll sit him for the last game because it's just because like they did last year.
He's at 99 points.
He was at 99. They sat him last game. They're like, yeah, let him rest.
Yeah, he's right on 75 points in 59 games.
Yeah, there you go.
Not bad. So yeah,
he gets right around it.
Yeah, he'll be close. He'll be right there.
You almost hope he doesn't get the 100 this year, so that they can like throw that in his face. Well, you've never been a 100-point player, you know. That's $1 million less.
As soon as he gets 99, I start health bombing him for the rest of the season. But yeah, I wanted to talk about. We did talk about the defense scoring a goal in each of the last 4 games, and then the 2 from Tanev and McCabe in the 1 game.
Yep.
So how crazy is that?
And now Connor Timmins,
OEL, Morgan Riley.
Morgan Riley's starting to play pretty good too.
Yes, he is. And there's a road trip coming up.
I know.
After tonight, there's a road trip, and going out to Colorado, Utah, and Vegas.
Yeah. So
we'll see if Jack's theory is correct, and he starts getting better and better.
Probably like a hat trick a game, and like 5 or 6 points average per game.
Turns into Cale Makar.
Better.
turns into Quinn Hughes mixed with Cale Makar.
Add them both together.
Yeah.
And that's
going to be Morgan Riley.
That will be Morgan Riley during the road trip.
So like you said, like now the holes seem to be getting plugged. Everybody talks about the problems with this team. Yeah. I still think they need a third line center.
Yeah, they do.
I still think they need depth defense.
Yeah.
Or maybe a right-handed defenseman for Riley.
Mm-hmm.
But the things where they're talking about the depth not scoring and the defense not scoring, at least that's maybe starting to get solved, and they're going in the right direction for this stuff. And finally, things are falling into place. Yeah,
it's a good problem to have. It is tough because they're doing so well now, and you're almost like, oh, do we, how do we mix that up or whatever, or stop that and disrupt that process? But I think we both talked about it last time. I think the move for the trade deadline is Lawton and Shen. You get Lawton on third center, and then bring in Shen because you don't have to give much up for him. He plays well with Riley. That way you can run Shen and Riley, and then you run McCabe and Tanev, and then you got OEL on that with either Benoit or Timmins or whoever else you want to sub in. And then that's good depth. And Shen's such a good playoff guy because he's just so big and strong, and he can fight, and so he can really, bully guys in the playoffs.
And he's won a cup, so he has that experience.
That's true. He's got that too. So,
or maybe a couple cups. Was he on the 2 cups for the Tampa Bay Lightning, or was it just one?
I thought it was just one.
Well, just one. But actually, now, thank you for bringing that up. I'm going into trade corner now. So there were talks about Parayko, Braden Shen, stuff like that. I'm guessing those are going to be quashed now because St. Louis is only 1 point out of the wild card. And it sounds like they want to keep these players for their run if they can make it. Now, I'm thinking Lawton is too expensive. They want a first for him for a third-line center. That doesn't seem worth it. I don't want the Leafs to be the one to spend that for him.
No, because a first-rounder could be a first- or second-line guy.
That's the problem with the picks, though. They don't exist yet. You don't know who you're picking. It could be literally anything. It could be even a third-line center. Do you know what I mean?
Dubas mentioned that. It's kind of like a mystery player.
Yeah.
And so, that mystery player... the mystery box. Oh, the mystery box. It could be a first liner, or it could be somebody that doesn't even make the NHL.
What's the Family Guy thing? It could even be a boat.
But you could literally choose the boat.
Yeah,
but mystery box
could be anything. But then, so I think that's too expensive for someone like Lawton, because I think they'd want first plus. And then we don't even have the cap space then for it, so it'd have to be first plus a cap dump.
Well, and that's the problem at the trade deadline is every ticket is more expensive.
Yeah.
So what you want to do, because teams know that you're trying to make a run and they got you by the balls and they have nothing to lose, especially if the player still has term on. Like if they're a rental, then it's a little different because you're like, okay, this player might not sign with us, so we can't get as much for him because,
he's going to leave at the end of the year.
He's going to leave at the end of the year. But these players that have terms still on there, these teams are like, oh, okay, we can get a lot for these players.
Yeah, I think
because we know how desperate these teams are to win, and they're willing to give up more right now so that they can win the cup, and they're not really thinking as much on their future. So, and I just can't believe that they're asking that much for Lawton. I think a second's fair and Robertson.
I think they will get a first though, because it sounds like a lot of people are after him.
Yeah.
Which sucks, but he doesn't play center all the time either. He's on the wing a lot of the time as well. So it's kind of hard when it's not even a full-time center.
Yeah. I wouldn't even want to know what O'Reilly was asked for then. It's probably like Minton, Cowboy, and a first. if they're asking that much for Lawton.
So and then there's Donato from Chicago. He's a third-line center there. He has, I think it's 18 goals in the season.
Mm-hmm.
He's pretty good. And if you want to do like a one-stop shop in all the same place, there's also Connor Murphy on defense.
You don't want to pick up Brody again? Bring him back?
He looks so bad this year, man. No.
Dude, honestly, I'd rather keep our team than do that one.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's just good depth scoring. It's a good third-line center. He's a PKer as well.
We already have depth scoring.
And it's good depth defenseman. All from the same spot.
We already have that.
This recency bias, Jack, that you have is not helping. This is why you're not a GM.
No, and that's why I'm doing this, because if they keep trending the way they're trending, why give up anything?
Okay, let me keep going then. So Jake Evans from Montreal. Another third-line center. He's scoring like crazy. He's great on the penalty kill.
That guy's a gamer. I actually like him.
And then there's Dennis Savard on defense we can grab from Montreal as well.
Ooh, I would love that. That guy's a horse.
Yeah. And they're thinking about trading him.
Ooh, I'd like that.
So about that one-stop shop there.
That fivels my goodies.
Yeah, does it?
Yeah.
So you can have Savard and Morgan Riley as the second pair. And he eats pucks. Savard eats pucks.
Guys,
he'll fight too. He's mean.
And just stamina and endurance in the tank. That guy can just run forever.
Oh, yeah. And then the last one I have, actually I got two more, but one's an old one. Yanni Gord. And maybe if you want to get D-men from Seattle too, there's Oleksiak, who is 6'7" every time he hops on the ice. Are you
That
alright?
one's good too. Oh.
God, I'm gonna stop talking.
Wait, let me grab some cream. Go ahead.
Fuck, man. But he's not. It's not like he's the greatest defenseman, but he's something that Tree Living loves is huge defenseman. And Brube, I think, can get him to play the right way.
Yeah.
And Yanni Gord is just a friggin' firecracker. So I think they'll be cheaper because Yanni Gord's coming off an injury as well. So there's that. And then the last one.
No,
so what do you think?
All right.
Yeah. So what do you think of that? I love the one-stop shops, so that's why I'm going through these. Yeah.
I like it too. And I'm willing to give away Minton for that stuff.
Whoa. Really?
Yeah.
I guess third line center.
Yeah, third line center for third line center. But the there's been speculation by Nick Kiprios that Cowboy Easton Cowan will be gone by the trade deadline.
Really? That is like my one untouchable.
I sent you that picture, remember?
I know, but I'm trying to react in real time. Way to break the scenes.
What's that, the fourth wall?
Yeah, man. What are you doing?
But you have 4 walls in your house.
More than that.
Your new house.
I got a shitload of walls.
Yeah, you got so many walls in your new house, man. So many walls. So we can break some.
He'd be my one untouchable, though. Easton Cowan.
He just got a hat trick.
Yeah, actually, he's next on my list.
I didn't even look at your list.
I can tell by the way you're talking.
I had no time.
Well, I did send it like a minute before, so.
But how about me just transitioning everything for you so easily and naturally?
I know we're on the same wavelength, man.
Yeah, well, you were on Robo, and I was like, "There's no way he's picking Robo."
And my honorable mention was Marner. So the Seattle one, maybe it's a maybe. I think that's a lot lower on the list, just because I don't think Alexiak's really what they're looking for. But I just thought huge defenseman. Tree Living loves huge defensemen. So it could be like the next Yanni Hockey.
Yeah, and Alexiak's from Toronto, so.
Is he?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm onto something.
Yeah.
And then the last one.
Sister's a swimmer.
Oh, right. Swimmer. Yeah, okay, yeah.
And she went to U of T. I feel like she was almost there when I was there.
You wish.
I think she was. Maybe when I was on 4th year, she was in 1st.
You always bring up the U of T alumni, man. It's crazy.
Man, it's a good alumni. You know a lot of people through it.
Not as good as Ryerson, bud.
For 1 year.
Still there, still alum. Still get the messages.
Still get the emails. Still want to donate. Don't.
Oh, I'm not supposed to? So anyways, the last one-stop shop I wanted to touch on is O'Reilly and Shen from Nashville. 2 players that's played here before. We know they can work. They played well. O'Reilly could have been better, but he still played well. He got us to the second round. And I think it was the more mature team and him playing actually better in Nashville. Maybe not this year, but last year. I think he is still capable of being an amazing third-line center on this team. And
yeah, we wouldn't
we already
expect that much from him if he came. He'd be able to play that role that he likes to play. Mm-hmm. Like, we wouldn't expect much offense from him. We'd expect him to be just that lockdown guy, which he already is.
And imagine a third line. Picture this for a second. A third line of O'Reilly, McMahon, you got Cal Yarncroke on the right.
Oh, yeah. That we have to mention, too, because he's starting tonight.
We already did.
Did we? Oh, yeah, we said his name, yeah. Yeah, and Cal Yarncroke's so good defensively, like responsible.
And so was McMahon.
Oh, man. Dude, it's cool, man. It's cool to think about this hypothetical.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. The price tag for O'Reilly just seems insane.
And I also don't know how the money works in the cap. That's not my job.
That's why they're saying if we are getting somebody big, like in the talks of Parayko, Cowan would be that guy that you'd have to give up to land a big fish.
Oh, like I see. I just like that cap working with because I don't think we have much cap space.
Yeah, so that's why if you throw in a big name like Cowan, they would retain.
I see. So apparently, if you retain 50% on Rantanen again if he gets traded, it's only like $2.5 million. Because he was already retained once from Colorado to Carolina, 50%.
Just a bunch of half-lives.
Mm-hmm. So if you retain another 50%, he's only worth 2.5 coming on your team.
That's wild. Imagine if you pick up Rantanen for 2.5. All right, what else do we have left, Nolan?
I think that was it about that third line hypothetical. It sounds really good.
Yeah.
And the team is going to be good, I think, if everybody's playing on top of their game.
What do you think realistically is going to go down at Trade Center?
For the Leafs?
Yeah.
They'll pick up a depth forward, hopefully at center, who might be able to play third line, and they'll pick up a depth defenseman, and I think that's it. Usually the most boring stuff's the correct stuff.
Yeah, I don't even think they're going to do that.
No?
I think they're going to say the price tag was too strong and not get... I think what they'll just do is pick up Shen because he's like a fourth.
Yeah, but I also think like they'll pick up Donato or something like that, or Jake Evans. Just because I think they're going to pick someone from like left field.
Yeah.
Someone
I don't even think they're going to do
even
that.
Yanni Gord, because like nobody's talking about Yanni Gord anymore.
Yeah, I just don't even think they're going to do that because is it really that much improvement from what you have?
I think so.
You think?
Well, yeah, especially I think so. Like defensively, yes. We already have the firepower in the first two lines. And I think we'll be good. And that is my TED Talk.
Cool. Do you want to mention Cowan?
Oh, yeah. Prospects corner. Cowan got a hattie the other night, including the OT winner. Mm-hmm. He is now, this season, at 51 points in 39 games. He is a dog, man.
Yeah.
And I think his shot's getting better because Matthews taught him how to shoot.
Yes.
Evidence is the hattie he scored.
Yeah.
So I think he'll be ready coming to this team next year. That's why I don't want to trade him away.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to judge that guy's potential because the way he's trending right now, it's very cool.
Yeah.
And you don't want to just trade away a guy that's trending like that for nothing.
Frig, no. No, I don't. I wouldn't.
Yeah. You kind of want to see how that plays out.
And those are our Leafs and Leafs prospects.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so if you listen this long, thank you for listening to us this week. And for the future week ahead, I want you to play hard and have fun.
Play hard, have fun, everybody.
Yeah.